Right, so one of your specialties now, I guess, is the perception of value, and how everyone's own experiences means that they put, their perception of value on different things, different products, different services is always different. How did you get into that, and what is it all about?
Okay, so for me, that was, I noticed that, or observed it first of all, and then realized that from a selling perspective, it played a really important part. Perception is an individual belief structure that somebody has, and it is based absolutely on their experiences, their knowledge, and that's what drives it. And so if you try and think about what increases perception, you look for common grounds, common areas. Okay, I'll give an example. This is why if you go and buy art, one person's perception might be, wow, that's really valuable, I'll spend $1 million. Another individual will be, I wouldn't spend $5 for that. It's a lack of experience and a lack of knowledge. So what I noticed was, if you look for common areas and common life experiences, that's where you get to increase perception. People value time. Every human being values time. So if you can show them a way that they're saving time, you can increase perception of value. People value when you can handle problems for them. Everybody has problems in life, and if you can step in and lead and take charge of that situation, their perception of the value add is amazing. And people really value unique experiences that makes them feel like really special. So there's a few different ways you can do that. That's how you can increase it.
So what would be some other tips, like if we were talking about in a real estate context, what would be some of the tips for salespeople, for example, that they might be able to use in that context to help their sales?
So I would say for property specific context, I think Christ would be a one. When people are getting property managed on board, they actually don't want any headaches, they don't want the hot potatoes, and so I would actually be proactive to find out what those hot potatoes are, what those problems are, and actually proactively take them away.
It's important then that you understand, what your customers value, their perception of value, but you were talking about before that it's equally important that you understand the value of your own brand.
Absolutely, absolutely. What you add to any situation, whether it be a transactional exchange or service exchange, is that if you value yourself and the knowledge that you have, your confidence in that dealing goes through the roof exponentially. I mentioned just before, often when we're in a situation exchanging time for goods or services, we're negotiating over small percentages, small dollar amounts and small fees. And what you're really saying by backing down that is that you don't value your knowledge and your time. So when you really own that, you have the confidence to put that stamp on it. It's important to be your brand.
And that's especially important for real estate salespeople when it comes to commission.
Absolutely.
Obviously, here in Queensland, unlike obviously you're from Sydney, but here in Queensland we have a capped commission, a maximum commission structure, but consumers are able to negotiate it down. And so what you're really saying then is, that you really need to believe in it yourself, that you deserve the commission that you get paid.
I actually work with people, not just property, but across all businesses, on a principle of you make a stand. Why cave straight away? You make a stand based, if you've done a consultative approach, if you're handling problems, taking hot potatoes, knowledge sharing, dealing with situations, make a stand for those things and hold firm at your top end of your commission, because that's your personal value. That's where your personal wealth is born. If you really want to get into it and read any books by the successful people, first 10% of everything you earn should be your income. Why give it away?
Yeah, that's right. And it's all about, you get what you pay for.
Yeah.
And if you don't believe in it, and especially in a real estate context, they are supposed to be the experts in negotiation. So if they can't negotiate their own commission, you really have to probably think about their negotiation skills when it comes to selling your property.
Yeah, it could be some development skills. Absolutely, it starts with a belief. If you've got belief in your own value, you're going to be more proactive to make a stand to negotiate for that. It's if you don't have that belief, I find that a lot of that's the times when people will pull back from it.
And how can people get that belief in themselves a bit more, do you think?
One thing I do with a lot of people is actually getting to map out on paper literally how much knowledge they have. A lot of them don't realize. Every day they talk, walk, breathe property management 8 hours a day, let's say as a minimum. Every day of every week. And the reality is that if they're handling that property on behalf of somebody else, that person actually doesn't. They're off doing another role, another job. So who's the expert? If you actually make it relative value, who is the expert? So add up that time, and that's where you start to increase your level of confidence.
Thank you.